After work, I was idly scrolling through social media when I stumbled upon a post. The OP asked, "I went for a prenatal checkup today and found out the baby has serious issues requiring an abortion, but my mother-in-law and husband are deeply attached to this child. How can I shift the blame onto someone else?" Reading this twisted thought, I assumed it was just another attention-grabbing stunt for clout and paid it no mind. The next day at work, a pregnant colleague suddenly pulled me aside with strange secrecy. "Chloe, this is my lucky belly. Touch it for good fortune. Your promotion and raise will be guaranteed." Noticing the barely perceptible smirk at the corner of her lips, I jerked my hovering hand back abruptly. After work, I was idly scrolling through social media when I stumbled upon a post. The OP asked, "I went for a prenatal checkup today and found out the baby has serious issues requiring an abortion, but my mother-in-law and husband are deeply attached to this child. How can I shift the blame onto someone else?" This dark notion made me think it was probably another sensationalist post fishing for followers. Posts these days truly know no bounds. People will fabricate any story for clicks. Still, curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked in. The post was only a few hours old, and the OP's location matched mine exactly. There weren't many comments yet, mostly condemning the OP for having no moral bottom line to gain followers. As I scrolled down, I was shocked to find one comment actually offering the OP advice. Find an opportunity to let family or coworkers touch your belly. Later, pretend to have occasional stomach pains. After the miscarriage, pin the blame on whoever touched you. You could even score hefty compensation. Reading this comment that was genuinely offering serious advice to the OP completely shattered my worldview. When I noticed the author-approved mark beneath it, my disbelief grew even deeper. After scrolling through the entire thread, I drifted off to sleep. After all, there was an early meeting waiting the next morning. The moment I arrived at work the next day, I plunged into busy tasks, completely forgetting about yesterday's bizarre post. During the lunch break, as everyone gathered to chat, I was just about to share that mind-blowing thread from yesterday. My colleague Brenda spoke first. Nearly 4 months pregnant, she rubbed her belly and said, "My bump's getting more noticeable now. I've even felt the baby kicking these past few days. This little one's quite lively." The team showered her with warm congratulations. "Brenda, judging by how you're carrying, I'd say you're having a healthy baby boy. My experience never lies. Being active is good, means the baby's strong and healthy." "Absolutely, Brenda. Your little one's bound to be adorable." Still caressing her belly, she replied, "Boy or girl doesn't matter to me. It's just that I focused on my career these past years and only recently decided to start a family. My in-laws are over the moon. They'd practically confine me at home if they could, but I can't abandon work just yet. I'll take my maternity leave after this month wraps up." "Brenda, you're too dedicated. Health comes first." Seriously, most would jump at the chance to rest. Why are you jumping into overtime instead? As I watched her happily rubbing her belly while everyone offered sincere congratulations, I swallowed back the post I'd been about to share. After all, she was pregnant too. The clock in the break room chimed several times. Work hours would begin shortly. Everyone brushed cookie crumbs off their clothes and grabbed their coffee mugs, ready to return to their stations. Brenda suddenly pulled me aside, tugging me covertly by the sleeve. "Chloe," she whispered, "my due date's approaching fast. Once I go on maternity leave, this project will need a new lead. And I know it should be you. You're my top pick. There's just something about you we clicked immediately." She beamed at me with congratulatory warmth. "You're the most capable of all the new hires. It took me years to make team lead. But you, the directors praised you in company meetings multiple times already." Her flattery came in relentless waves. I could only respond with awkward chuckles and the usual polite platitudes. "I still have so much to learn from you, Brenda. Your experience is invaluable, and look at you now, thriving both in your career and with a baby on the way." Just as I moved to leave, her hand shot out to stop me again. "Oh, sweetie, no need for formalities with me. I stopped you because I want you to share in my good fortune." I was puzzled. What fortune could she mean? Look at my perfectly round baby bump. Even the elders say it's brimming with good fortune. There's an old saying that calls this a lucky belly. Whoever touches it will have good luck. That's why I secretly stopped you today, so you can share in my blessings. Just give it a little rub, and that promotion to team leader will be yours for sure. She arched her belly forward, her face alight with expectation. The moment those words left her mouth, alarm bells rang in my head. I immediately recalled a post I'd seen last night about pregnant women deliberately tricking others into touching their bellies to blame them for miscarriages. I froze for a second, unnerved by how intently her gleaming eyes tracked my hands. Better safe than sorry. Though it's wrong to overanalyze people's motives, I still waved her off. Sis, I appreciate the gesture, but my hands have been all over keyboards and machinery today. I'd hate to expose your baby to germs. You should be extra careful during pregnancy. Her smile stiffened instantly, the light in her eyes dimming. I didn't miss the subtle shift in her expression. Soon she forced a breezy laugh. Oh, don't be silly. Just touch it over my clothes. What harm could that do? The baby's safely tucked behind layers anyway. Had I not seen that post, I'd have taken her at face value and thanked her naively. But with that warning fresh in mind, her persistence felt increasingly sinister. Forget it, sis. I appreciate your kindness, but let's wait until the baby's born. I'll definitely come celebrate at the full moon banquet. The supervisor is about to arrive. We should get back to our stations. I hastily extricated myself, retreating to my workstation before she could say another word. Back at my desk, I stole a few glances at Brenda. After my rejection, her face had turned ashen. Even when colleagues discussed work matters with her, she responded distractedly, completely unlike her usual self. Yet I harbored doubts. Normally so warm-hearted, always smiling at work, she seemed the last person capable of such dark intentions. But throughout the afternoon, I watched her maintain an icy demeanor, frequently touching her belly as if burdened by some secret. Returning home, after work, I remained skeptical about the whole affair. Was I being overly sensitive? We'd never had workplace conflicts. I'd always respected her as a senior colleague. She had absolutely no motive to harm me. Troubled by these thoughts, I reopened that forum post, scrutinizing its details anew. A day later, the post's traffic had surged, though most comments condemned the original poster. Starting your social media career like this? How will you face your future self? If I see another post like this, may I win $10 million. Almost no one believed this was a genuine inquiry, probably afraid of being recognized by acquaintances. This was a newly created account. The author provided no profile details, using one of those generic avatars everyone has, beyond her IP address, showing she was in the same location as me. I couldn't discern any further details. As I scrolled through the uniformly hostile comments below, I suddenly remembered the suggestion I'd made yesterday, telling her to have someone touch her belly. It was so malicious that hardly anyone had liked it, and the comment had already sunk into obscurity. I absentmindedly refreshed the page, only to find that the original poster had replied to that very comment just minutes ago. Hello, may I ask if there are any other methods besides having someone touch my belly? That didn't work. I got rejected. My eyes widened in disbelief as I read those words. I refreshed the page over and over, confirming the comment was real. How could such a coincidence exist? Today of all days, Brenda had asked me to touch her belly, and I'd refused. At that moment, my head felt numb and swollen, my breath catching in my throat. A long time passed with no one replying to the original poster, but the dread only grew. If this really was Brenda, and she'd failed today, she certainly wouldn't give up so easily. Given how determined she'd been earlier, she wouldn't stop until she'd found some poor fool to take responsibility for her. I turned it over in my mind again and again, wondering what grudge Brenda could possibly hold against me to go this far. Or was she just looking for someone random to frame? And I happened to be today's unlucky choice. Now that I didn't take the bait, would she shift her target to harm another colleague? My suspicion was soon confirmed. Brenda's target had always been me, and only me. The next morning, just after waking up, I reopened that forum thread. The replier had responded to the original poster below. If rubbing the belly doesn't work, have that person bring you a meal or milk tea. After eating, claim stomach pain and insist it's because of what they gave you, that it caused the miscarriage. Even if a real lawyer gets involved, they'd still bear some responsibility. I stared blankly at the comment. How could someone in this world be so vicious? The next second, my WeChat notification chimed. It was a message from Brenda. Chloe, I woke up a bit late today. Could you grab me breakfast? I'll transfer the money. You know, I can't skip meals during this. Special condition. It's bad for the baby. When I didn't reply immediately, she spammed me with stickers to hurry me along. My eyes remained fixed on that forum reply, my mind slow to process. This was practically confirmation. The original poster was Brenda, and she'd made it crystal clear. I was her mark. I reopened WeChat to find Brenda had mentioned me in our group chat. Chloe, could you pick up breakfast for me on your way to work? Everyone else takes the subway or buses. You're the only one who drives. The message ended with a sinister smile emoji that sent chills down my spine. I pretended not to see it and didn't reply at all. WeChat buzzed several more times. Probably more messages from her, but I didn't even glance at them. Brenda had clearly set a trap, just waiting for me to fall into it. I'd always thought we had no issues between us, just a peaceful, indifferent coworker dynamic. Now I see how naive I was. Some people's hatred needs no reason at all. I realized why Brenda had chosen me. First, I was the only one with financial means. Nearly everyone else in our department were fresh graduates barely scraping by on rented apartments. Only I, cushioned by my parents' support, already owned a home and a car. So Brenda picked me as her scapegoat. No matter how this played out, she'd profit by pinning it on me. The second reason only dawned on me as I recalled her sickeningly sweet act yesterday. She'd said, "Once I'm on maternity leave, you'll probably get promoted to team lead." She was terrified of losing her position. She'd earned that team lead title through seniority. But ever since I joined the company, the boss had repeatedly praised my proposals in meetings and had started handing projects to me, subtly at first, then more openly. Brenda's calculated scheme to pin her child's life on me served dual purposes, absolving herself from blame with her husband's family while removing a professional obstacle from her path. Two birds with one stone. Flawless execution. The moment I entered the office, Brenda was already wailing at her desk, clutching her stomach. Her eyes lit up at the sight of me, like a predator spotting prey. "Chloe, sweetie, thank goodness you're here. So sorry to trouble you. I stayed up late revising the proposal yesterday and overslept this morning. Skipping breakfast during pregnancy feels like my stomach's on fire. I played dumb, so sorry, Brenda. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb after bedtime and missed your messages." I feigned having just checked my phone. Her face darkened instantly, as if swallowing bitter resentment that lodged in her chest. That expression confirmed she was the anonymous forum poster. She deliberately hunched over her desk, hands pressed to her belly. "Oh, no worries, Chloe. I understand. But I'm starving now. With my condition, could you please grab me something? I'll transfer the money first." Her Oscar-worthy performance of frailty drew concerned coworkers like moths to a flame. "What's wrong, Brenda? Are you feeling unwell? Brenda, you're in a special condition now. You must protect the baby. Your health comes first. Everything else is secondary. It's nothing serious. I just didn't have time for breakfast this morning and feel a bit lightheaded. That's why I'm troubling Chloe here to run downstairs and grab me something to eat." She made her request openly in front of everyone. If I pretended not to understand now, I'd truly be heartless. "All right, Brenda, have some water first. Let me put these things down, and I'll go buy something for you right away." Only after hearing this did the corners of her lips curl into a smile. "I'm so sorry to trouble you, Chloe." I deliberately took my time putting down my bag while stealing glances at the wall clock. The supervisor always comes up for inspection precisely at 8. I'd timed it perfectly. The moment Ms. Davis appeared, I was already hurrying toward the stairs, pretending not to notice her in time. I deliberately bumped right into her. The impact made her stagger, nearly sending her tumbling to the floor. Looking up at the supervisor's face, I hastily apologized. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Davis. I didn't see you coming. I was in too much of a rush." Though known for her short temper, Ms. Davis suppressed her anger upon seeing me. "What's the hurry this early in the morning?" I glanced back at Brenda, still maintaining her act, and the others behind her. I deliberately raised my voice. "Ms. Davis, Brenda hasn't eaten breakfast this morning. Given her pregnancy, I was worried something might happen, so I rushed downstairs to get her some food." Hearing my explanation and seeing the crowd of coworkers gathered around Brenda with concern, Ms. Davis's expression grew increasingly stern. One didn't need to guess. A storm was brewing. Ms. Davis valued efficiency above all else. She never allowed overtime, but she also despised any non-work activities during office hours. Her piercing, interrogative glare locked onto Brenda, and the crowd behind her instantly scattered in fear, retreating to their workstations. "Brenda, if you're pregnant, take your maternity leave immediately. My employees aren't here to wait on you. You're not that important, and the company won't collapse without you. Report to my office ASAP to file your leave request. Don't disrupt project timelines or workplace morale." Ms. Davis's words cut straight to the point, leaving no room for face-saving. Brenda's face flushed with alternating patches of red and pallor. She opened her mouth to protest, but Ms. Davis cut her off. "And stop having colleagues run errands for you. You don't sign their paychecks. They have their own work. Everyone, focus on your tasks and keep the project moving. One more slip-up, and it's pay cuts across the board." With that, Ms. Davis turned and strode into her office, leaving the team exchanging uneasy glances. Everyone exchanged only a fleeting glance before burying themselves in work again. No one wanted to cross paths with trouble now. When Ms. Davis threatened pay cuts, she never made empty promises. Brenda had no room left to argue. If she didn't take that leave now, she'd likely be fired. She shot me a venomous glare, teeth clenched in fury, shedding all pretense of her earlier feigned frailty. I pretended not to notice, my expression unflinching. After all, she brought this on herself. Brenda went into Ms. Davis's office to process her leave, and got another earful. It was hours before she emerged, disheveled and defeated, to pack her things and leave the office. On her way out, she threw me one last withering look. I exhaled deeply. Finally, it was over. Not only had she failed, but I wouldn't have to outmaneuver her daily anymore. I thought that would be the end of it, but I'd sorely underestimated Brenda's resolve. After work, I revisited the original poster's profile and found a new update. A coworker is scheming to steal my team lead position. She exploited my pregnancy to sabotage me in front of management, forcing me into maternity leave. How can I frame her for my impending miscarriage? In that instant, my entire body turned to ice. First, because I was absolutely certain this person was Brenda. Second, I never imagined she hated me so intensely, determined to destroy me at all costs. I could almost see Brenda behind the screen, venomous as a serpent, hell-bent on sinking her fangs into me. I've never gone out of my way to bully others, but if she truly crossed the line, I'd have no reason to keep enduring it. I registered a new account, adopting the same profile picture as that person. After leaving a comment below, she followed me immediately. Soon, a private message arrived. *sis, you said you have a foolproof method. Really? I replied. Absolutely. Follow my instructions, and nothing will go wrong. From the other side of the screen, she instantly sent back a tearfully grateful emoji. She truly believed it was a stranger offering her counsel, and spilled every detail without hesitation. Brenda confessed she'd recently learned her baby had deformities. Doctors urged termination, but after years of failed pregnancies due to work and health issues, her in-laws' patience had worn thin. This child was practically her last hope to stay in their good graces. If her husband and mother-in-law discovered the baby's condition, they cast her out without a second thought. The only way out, frame someone else. That way, her husband's pride would prevent him from divorcing her. Her reasoning seemed logical and even pitiable, but that still didn't justify framing an innocent person. Then why did you choose to frame your colleague? I typed out this line, wanting to verify if my suspicion was correct. The typing indicator kept flashing on the other side. After what felt like ages, Brenda finally sent a long paragraph. I just couldn't stand that colleague of mine. Fresh out of college, she snatched several projects right away and became the manager's favorite. It'd be one thing if she came from an ordinary family, but you wouldn't believe how privileged she is. Had a car, an apartment waiting right after graduation. If she's some rich princess, why bother stealing credit from common folks like us? Why does she get to be so happy? Why does she have everything? Why do I slave away every day only to come home to my in-laws' contempt? Reading this message, I froze for a second. It truly was like that book said, some people's hatred has no cause. Being mediocre, untalented, and utterly unremarkable, they see your excellence, your gifts, your kindness and happiness as original sins. Brenda hated me simply out of jealousy. She'd made me the outlet for all her grievances. Girl, hurry and tell me that foolproof method of yours. I can't keep this child much longer. The doctor's pressuring me to terminate soon or risk health complications. I'll make it worth your while afterward. My fingers hovered for a long moment before finally tapping out a few lines. Find an opportunity to meet that colleague of yours, preferably somewhere without surveillance cameras, then deliberately collapse onto her to stage a pushing incident. Afterward, go to the private hospital I recommended. For a fee, they can issue a falsified miscarriage report citing external trauma to show your family. Your in-laws won't dare object, and that colleague of yours could never wash herself clean of this. Even if she leaped into the Yellow River, she'll have no choice but to swallow this injustice. Brilliant idea. Sis, I'll go get that report right away. When this is done, I'll send you a thank you red envelope. After her repeated nudging, I finally sent her the address of that private hospital. What Brenda didn't know was that the director of this hospital happened to be my best friend Sarah. I laid out the entire scheme, truthfully, for Sarah. She gasped repeatedly over the phone. You can't be serious. How can someone be this malicious in the world? You've done nothing wrong, yet she's plotting to ruin you like this. Sarah spent the whole evening cursing Brenda's ancestors 18 generations back, her outrage simmering with every expletive. Don't worry, if Providence led me to that online post exposing her plan, it means the universe won't let her succeed. Count on me, Nan, I'll coordinate everything. If we let vile people like her win, there'd be no justice left in this world. I instructed Sarah to have the hospital staff examine Brenda properly, but prepare 2 reports. One falsified version for Brenda documenting trauma-induced miscarriage, and another with her actual prenatal records mailed directly to me. But this report wasn't meant to stay in my hands in the end. It didn't take long before Brenda couldn't wait to make her move. The next morning, she went to her best friend Sarah's hospital at dawn, leaving satisfied after obtaining the fake medical report she wanted. Soon enough, Brenda called me. Hey Chloe, sis here. Since I'm already on maternity leave, there's some leftover work I need to hand over to you. The details are a bit complicated to explain over the phone. I'll send you an address. Come meet me so I can brief you properly. It'll save you trouble when pushing the project forward later. Her tone dripped with false sweetness, but this time I agreed readily. Sure thing, sis. Send me the address. I'll come after work. I fought back nausea as I humor her. Shortly after, Brenda texted me the location. The fish was biting. Right now, she was probably rehearsing how to frame me. The moment I clocked out, Brenda bombarded me with impatient messages. Chloe, sis is waiting here for you. Hurry up. She was like a starved wolf, salivating to devour her prey the moment it stepped into her den. I drove to the address promptly. Spotting my car, she rushed over with theatrical stacks of documents in hand. Quite the full dress performance. Chloe, I called you over mainly to give you these documents, along with the project. As she spoke, she leaned into me. Before I could even extend my hand, she forcibly shoved the papers into my grasp. She suddenly lurched toward me, collided abruptly, then recoiled and collapsed onto the floor. I remained utterly motionless throughout, like an unyielding wall. Clutching her stomach, she writhed on the ground, beginning to wail theatrically. Ow! My stomach. It hurts so bad. Chloe, why did you push me? You know I'm heavy with child. The pain. My baby. What if something's wrong? Her exaggerated shrieks drew sideways glances from several passers-by. What happened? What's going on over there? Looks like a pregnant woman. A small crowd began gathering. Someone help me up. Chloe, why would you shove me like that? Several people took her words at face value, immediately directing accusatory glares my way without questioning. How could you treat a pregnant woman like this? Exactly. What kind of grudge justifies this? If anything happens to that baby, could you even take responsibility? One had to admit Brenda's performance was masterful. These strangers were now her righteous advocates. I hadn't moved an inch, observing them all with icy detachment. Young lady, I don't mean to be harsh, but where are your manners? The least you could do is apologize. Look at that indifferent face of yours. No reverence for life whatsoever. Clearly wasn't raised right at home. Exactly. Even if you've never been pregnant. Hasn't your mother? Don't you understand what's at stake here? The elderly onlookers couldn't stay silent any longer, their accusatory voices rising in waves. I didn't push her. Why should I apologize? I spoke slowly. Hearing this, Brenda immediately shrieked. Nan, we're colleagues. I never thought you'd do something like this. And now you're denying it? I handed you something, and you pushed me. Oh, prove it was me, unless you have evidence. Those are just baseless accusations. The crowd glanced around. This spot happened to be a blind spot for surveillance cameras, with no footage to review. Brenda had followed instructions well, picking this very spot precisely because it lacked monitoring. If you didn't push me, did I throw myself down? I'm carrying a child. What pregnant woman would do that? You knew there were no cameras here, so you're trying to weasel out of responsibility. Brenda kept clutching her stomach, relentless in her shouting. The more she spoke, the more justified she felt. Convinced victory was assured. No, the pain is getting worse. I need to get to the hospital immediately. Everyone here is my witness. If anything happens to my baby, I need you all to testify for me. The self-righteous crowd immediately perked up at this. Don't worry, we'll back you up. There's no way she's getting away with this. Clutching her stomach, Brenda shot me a smug sidelong glance. She hailed a cab and sped off to the hospital. Timing-wise, this was right on schedule. Just as I'd expected, Brenda was both stupid and obedient. She'd followed my instructions to the letter, right down to rushing to terminate that defective fetus. With a forged medical report and these clueless witnesses, she'd fool her in-laws and drag my name through the mud. But for all her scheming, she never guessed the helpful friend who'd fed her this plan was me. Did she really think I'd let her frame me without a fight? Before arriving, I'd planted hidden cameras on myself and in my car. Every act of Brenda's little performance had been captured in crystal clarity. Not once had I so much as laid a finger on her. Now, all that remained was to watch the real drama unfold in her own household. Sarah had been tailing Brenda the whole time and texted me the hospital address. Brenda had already scheduled the abortion procedure in advance. Once the baby was removed, she'd have nothing left to worry about. The moment had come. The courier called me. MS. Lynn, your SF Express delivery has arrived. The surprise I arranged should have been delivered by now. I'd obtained her home address and contact details from the company's employee records earlier. The problematic prenatal report was already on its way to her doorstep. Her husband and mother-in-law must have discovered the issues with her baby by now. Exporting the evidence I'd just captured, it was time to witness the final act of this drama. Following the address Sarah sent me, I quickly arrived at the hospital and met up with her. The procedure was already done, the baby gone. Room 302. Sarah glared toward Brenda's hospital room with undisguised disgust. Don't worry, everything will be over soon. You're guaranteed front row seats to the show today. Brenda's wailing phone call echoed from the room. Husband, come to the hospital now. It's all my fault. I failed to protect our baby. She kept sobbing theatrically, playing the victim. With the stage set, I intended to watch her performance up close. Soon, her husband and mother-in-law stormed in, faces twisted with rage. I'd only sent them the report about the baby's abnormalities. Nothing more. I followed them into the hospital room. Brenda was about to put on her fake wailing act when she saw me. Her face instantly twisted with shock. "How dare you show your face here? You kill my baby," she shrieked, pointing at me. "Husband." It was her. She pushed me today and made me miscarry. Brenda snatched a pillow from the bed and hurled it at me, howling about making me pay. "Mom, it's all her fault. She murdered your grandson." Her mother-in-law, still processing the onslaught of revelations, glared at Brenda with fury and slapped her across the face. "Tell me the truth. Was there something wrong with the baby? Why did you hide it from me?" Brenda staggered, clutching her stinging cheek. "Mom, what are you talking about? She's the one who—" "You lying little tramp." The older woman brandished a medical report. "It's right here in black and white. You knew the fetus was abnormal. You went to every prenatal checkup alone." Brenda's mother-in-law flung the test results at her face. Her husband's eyes burned with betrayal. "The report was mailed to our house weeks ago. You knew. You told us everything was fine. Why lie?" Brenda opened her mouth to protest, but her mother-in-law wasn't having any of it. "I always knew you were useless. Married all these years without conceiving. And now there are problems with this pregnancy. You've wasted my son's best years. I could have been holding my grandchild by now. Listen well. Today, you cease to be a daughter-in-law of the Miller family. A barren hen like you can get the hell out." Brenda stared at the prenatal report in her hands, momentarily speechless. "No, Mom, please let me explain. Honey, this isn't true." Brenda stumbled forward, grasping for her husband's hand, but he recoiled with disgust. "I'll have the lawyers draft divorce papers immediately." He spat before walking away. For several seconds, she stood there like a madwoman before finally focusing on me. "You killed my baby. I'll sue you. I'll take this to court." The moment I arrived at work the next day, I plunged into busy tasks, completely forgetting about yesterday's bizarre post. Clearly, she wouldn't relent until she saw the footage I'd recorded. I pulled up the pre-recorded video. "Sorry, Brenda. My dashcam happened to be on when I came to collect my things today. The footage shows it clearly. I never laid a finger on you." Her eyes bulged with disbelief the moment the video played. The recording left no room for doubt. She'd thrown herself at me before collapsing to the ground, wailing, You knew all along. No, you planned this." Brenda's face twisted grotesquely, her entire body bristling like an enraged lioness. "Sister Brenda, while we shouldn't harbor ill intentions, we must always guard against them. You struck first, and I'm merely protecting myself. Feel free to take me to court if you dare. My evidence chain is impeccable, from forum posts to chat logs and videos, all meticulously preserved." Sarah and I exchanged knowing smiles. The next instant, Brenda snapped and charged at us like a madwoman. Several nurses rushed in at the commotion and restrained Brenda. "Postpartum patients are emotionally fragile after miscarriages. Transfer her to psychiatry for observation." Epilogue. With Brenda subdued, Sarah and I walked out of the hospital. As sunlight hit my face, I exhaled deeply. It was finally over. This ordeal taught me a sobering lesson. Even if you bear no malice toward others, nothing stops them from targeting you. Some people scheme and resent without reason, unless your suffering surpasses theirs.